The boys are back in town, ready to rock and roll. It's 30 minutes till kickoff tonight of a doubleheader on a Monday night football game. It's your boy down the right side, Tom Beck, and also Mike Carver here, ready to have some fun, ready to get down to business here. The doubleheader, let's just start here tonight, Tom. I'll start with you. Do you like the doubleheader? Because I don't mind it, but boy, I liked when it was like 7 and 7:30, man. I'm going to bet the game, second game, and I'm not going to watch it. I can't that late.
I know. I prefer the straight doubleheader, one after the other. I don't like the same, going on at the same time. It's like, oh, it's halftime in this one, the other one's coming out. I will say we need to have a doubleheader of Monday like every other week and get rid of Thursday night football.
I love that.
Thursday night football is terrible. We all know this. Players hate it, the injuries, all this, that, the other thing. They preach player safety, but then we're playing on a short week. Let's do a doubleheader of Monday night football every other week. We can make the schedule work and make it happen.
What do you think, Carver? You like it liking these doubleheaders on Monday night?
I like the Monday night doubleheaders. Yeah. I probably lean more to Tom with the straight like they're doing tonight, the 7 and 10. But honestly, Donnie, I could get in on 7 and 8:45.
Yeah, come on.
Like that's cool. We're into the second half. Start the other game. If the first game's a blowout, you're immediately in on the second. If it's good, you're picking it up at halftime, the second game, and you're not up till 2 o'clock in the morning like you might be tonight if you want to take in both games. And I'm with you on Thursdays. And here's the other thing. Can we throw this into our scheduling rules going forward?
No.
Always a minimum of 4 games in the 4 o'clock window on Sunday.
Oh, please.
Should never have less than 4 games at 4 or 4:25 on Sunday. Minimum.
Could not agree more.
By the way, Tom, do you remember a couple of years, this is probably a good decade ago, Fox had the Saturday 4 o'clock game where it was the only game that was allowed to be on Saturday, like at that time limit? I used to lose my mind. And Mike is right about that. I know why the NFL does it, because they want the focus and attention on one singular game. But then it's like, wait, you got 9 games at 1 o'clock. Like, I know you can't have a 50-50 balance, but in a perfect world, you'd have like 7 games at 1 o'clock, 5 games at 4 o'clock, the night game, and go on there. I completely agree with you on that. Because you get stuck with a clunker and you don't have the ticket, that's not fun. That's not fun.
It's tough. And I really think it should be, and especially once you get the international games and the bye weeks, it's like, hey, we have 6 games in the early window, 5, whatever it is, and then 3 games in the late, and one of them is terrible. Like it's someone involved in the Seahawks, and the Cardinals were bad. If that was Panthers at Cardinals and they were both bad, yesterday would have been a disaster.
Yeah. People checking in the chat box, having some fun. Let's get to the games tonight, gentlemen. A 7 o'clock game and a 10 o'clock game. We'll start at 7 o'clock, 277, 278 on the rotation. That's Tampa Bay and Houston, Baker Mayfield, and C.J. Stroud. This line opened up at 2.5. We've had no line movement on the side all week. It still sits at 2.5 in a total of 42.5, which is down slightly from the 43.5. Tom, I'll start with you first in this game. Houston 0-1 at home in the Dome. Tampa Bay 1-0 on the road here. Line isn't moving. What are you seeing from your perspective?
This is a really interesting game because the Texans came out and looked terrible at the Rams. Now, granted, the Rams have good defense. The Texans have good defense, but the Texans' offensive line is horrible. It is so bad. And I know they're not fully healthy. Missing Joe Mixon, missing Christian Kirk. Like, we know they're not fully healthy, but C.J. Stroud just doesn't have it right now. I think the Bucs are the better team top to bottom. I think they have better coaching. They have better quarterback. The skill positions, maybe a little bit of a toss-up. The Bucs still don't have Godwin. They don't have McMillan. At the end of the day, I want to be trusting the quarterback and the coaching staff that I believe in, and that really comes down to the Bucs. I think they come away with the win. I'm on their money line. I'm on them in a number of different ways that we can break down all of that as we go through it.
Carver, I take a look at this game and I say to myself, both of these teams do have some pressure defenses that can get after the quarterbacks. And also, I'm still waiting and saying, all right, Texans, 2 years ago, we had C.J. Stroud. We were electric on offense. Nico Collins, where you at? Need you to show up tonight. Maybe you don't have that second and third wide receivers. No Joe Mixon in the backfield. It seems like a more pedestrian offense. I look at the total, and I love overs. I do. I don't love the over in this game. What are you thinking about this one?
I don't love the over in this game either, Donnie. I think it's a good number. I don't think it gets over it, honestly. This game kind of has a 20-17, 20-14 type of feel to it tonight. There are a bunch of guys on both sides who really didn't do much last week. I mean, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, these guys were quiet in week number 1. Are they going to get going? I don't really love the Texan offense at all. I guess the guy for the Bucs that we're going to be looking at tonight is Ibuka, right? Because he busted out last week with a couple tutties. Will he get a little more attention this week, and that's going to free up maybe a little Mike Evans tonight to get him going a bit. I love Baker tonight. I think that the Bucs are going to go on the road and they're going to take care of business in Houston.
Tom, we take a look at this game, right? And you say to yourself, all right, 42.5 is that total. The thing that we know about that is if you have 50.5, 52.5, the numbers are price appropriate. Every single player tonight in this football game, Tom, is a plus money prop to score a touchdown. Chubb is the leader right now, at least looking at FanDuel, plus 115. Nico Collins, plus 125. Bucky Irvin, plus 130. Do you have an eye on somebody who you think is going to score tonight?
Yeah, if I'm on the Bucs side, it really comes down to Bucky Irving or Mike Evans. Two players that I wholeheartedly believe in. I will say Mike Evans is probably going to see a good amount of Derek Stingley Jr. We did see him take care of business against Devontae Adams last week, so it is a tough matchup. The question is Mike, you said, is like, are the Texans going to be shifting a few more resources to Emeka Egbuka after that kind of explosion we saw from him last week? And still in a tough matchup, Mike Evans can get there based on volume. So I like Irving, I like Evans. That's where I would be playing things. On the Texans side of things, like Nico Collins, I think is an awesome player, but if the offensive line is so terrible they don't give CJ Stroud enough time, it doesn't matter who is out there because he can't throw it to anyone if he can't go through his reads.
I got to tell you, like, I look at some of these props, like even with the wide receivers, like Nico Collins is a plus 125, but Dalton Schultz, again, not a wide out, but a tight end, plus 260. Jaden Higgins there, plus 450. Xavier Hutchinson, plus 550. There's a lot of high price points at this point. What do we take away, Mike, from last week's game against the Rams? A lower scoring game. They had a chance to do it, didn't score a lot. Are people starting to shy away from the Texans because of what they saw against the Rams last week and they don't feel they can bust out tonight?
They should be because the offense wasn't impressive whatsoever. Yeah. But one thing, Donnie, one of these other guys is going to eat a little bit tonight. Yeah. Obviously, we know Nico Collins is going to be high on the board, but whether you like Dalton Schultz, whether you like Higgins, whether you like Xavier Hutchinson, there's going to be somebody on that Texan roster that is going to get 3 to 5 grabs, maybe get a touchdown, maybe go over. The numbers are low. So I think that there's some opportunities here. A little Justin Watson tonight, maybe making a little appearance here for the Texans for the first time. I think anything's possible on their side.
If we do look at the quarterback position, Tom, I'll start with you here. C.J. Stroud, Baker Mayfield, the props tonight, 229.5 for Stroud, his passing prop. Baker Mayfield, right in the same ballpark, 232.5 touchdown props. Both of these guys to throw 2 touchdowns is plus money tonight. Are we looking at either one of these quarterbacks to excel? Because I know you like that Tampa Bay edge there. Is it worth Baker Mayfield's yards, 232, or touchdowns tonight for you?
Honestly, I think the yards. And if this game does go over, Baker will fly over this number. I could see Stroud and maybe get the running game going a little bit. They just, they mix in Chubb, even though I don't think he's great at this point of his career. Like Baker, this is a player that we've seen traditionally pass for 300 plus yards, and his interception prop is, I think it's still minus 160. It's minus 160. So if they're playing from behind because of the turnovers that Baker has always kind of historically struggled with, he won't just get to 232. Like he will fly over this to 270, 290.
Mike, what are we thinking about on Egbuka tonight? You take a look at his prop here, 51.5 yards. He's clearly the number 2 guy right now until Chris Godwin comes back. Is this an Evans night? Is this a, looking at the Egbuka type of night? Where are you going here at that wide receiver position to try to get some value?
Well, look, I think even when Godwin comes back, I think that this guy's going to be he's going to have a huge part of this offense. I think that this was a steal. I think some people scratch their heads. Why are the Bucs taking on the wide receivers? This guy is the real deal, and that was super value that the Bucs got him where they did in the NFL draft. I like some alts. I'll do a little leasy here for you, DRS. The alts are pretty palatable here. 60 plus for him at plus 132, 70 plus at plus 2 bills. Yeah, for a guy that I think is going to have a big part of this offense, that sounds pretty good to me. For Egbuka tonight, the touchdown's a really nice number, but that it makes Evans' numbers pretty good too. Even money for 70 plus for Mike Evans tonight.
How about that?
Is also pretty nice.
I always like to go the opposite route here, Tom. You take a look at some of these props like Sterling Shepard, 22.5, Cade Otton, 28.5. Like the low men on the totem pole tonight. By the way, did you have on the came on today with the early line?
Yeah.
Give me the prop that drove me nuts this morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jalen Noel on the Texans under 7.5 receiving yards. Ooh, now the number has moved up to 9.5.
Whoa!
It has moved against me.
Yeah.
But this is a player that when you look, first off, last week he only played on 17 snaps, which was 29% of the offense. If you just look at their depth chart, it's obviously Nico Collins, Schultz, Higgins, Hutchinson, Watson, 2 running backs that are all ahead of him in terms of usage. So I'm just banking on the fact that he's barely going to play. And if he plays, he's just simply not going to be targeted. So again, like I always will lean into, snap counts, targets, yards per route run, target share, all these things. And be like, listen, he's literally not involved in the offense. So I'll just take him under 7.5 yards.
Ground gainers tonight. Mike, I'll start with you. Bucky Irvin, Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield, Rashad White, CJ Stroud, obviously some quarterbacks thrown into the mix. Because I feel like I have a better feel tonight for game number 2 prop-wise than this game, because I'm just expecting that 42.5 to be a little bit more defensive. But somebody has to eat tonight. Do you have an eye on any of the running backs here in any spots?
I actually, considering the type of game that I think it's going to be, I was saying to you before, low scoring, little grinded out. I think it's a good Nick Chubb night. I think that you saw him get involved a little bit last week, but they were trailing. So they're really, they're throwing the ball around a little bit. If this is a game that's going to be 13-10, 17-14 late, he's still going to get those carries. So I'm going to go to Chubb here tonight. I think he scores too.
What do you got? Any ideas on there, Carver? Look, Chubb's in the end zone.
54.5 for the over. Over 54.5 for Chubb.
The only thing I would play in the ground game for this, and I just think the numbers are a little bit much for me, would be Bucky Irving rushing and receiving, because there's obviously multiple paths to him reaching that. If they're playing from behind, he does get involved in the passing game. If they're leading from in front, he should see really the lion's share of the work. I don't see Rashad White as being a big option in the backfield for them. So give me Bucky. He goes for, 80, 90 yards, whatever it is.
Fun stuff there. Tampa Bay and Houston is game number 1 tonight, guys.
You can't even get any Rashad White numbers, right?
Rashad.
Game. Can't even get any.
Get down there. Like Rashad was the man, and then Bucky just took control at that point.
Can't get any numbers on him. Even some low numbers. You can't get nothing for Rashad White.
Got up the chat box having some fun, throwing some stuff out there. Gus says Evans all night. Tony says, let's get it. Texans by 10. Jordan Penn, our guy. I think the Texans win. Going to be a close game. Both defenses, ATD and FT. There you go, Aaron.
Whoa.
And Jay Louis Sa, my guy. Yo, Mr. Don, what is your prop bet for Tampa and Houston tonight? I'm telling you, I don't have a bet for this game tonight. I'm loaded up on game number 2 with a couple.
Wow.
Now, if
nothing DRS,
I actually like
sitting it out.
I like Houston minus 2.5 tonight, to be honest.
Okay.
I do like that route, but from a prop perspective, it's too convoluted from what I saw last week. Like I think Ibuka has a good night. Bucky has a chance. I think Houston's defense steps up. I'm waiting for Nico Collins there because I would love to alt that guy. Give me 60 yards out of him and a touchdown, and throw it in with 1 touchdown pass, like the alt low or the opposite of Lisi likes to do. I'd be getting down. I just didn't see enough last week, which scared me a little bit. Which means that bounce back week 1 to week 2. I think Houston certainly takes control of that. Chargers and the Vegas Raiders. Here's what I like best, Carver. I'll start with you first on this one. One of these teams is going to be 2-0. The Chiefs are 0-2 in that division. So the pressure's on the Chiefs right away. I'm interested to see if the Chargers can win this game, which they are favored by 3 to 3.5, depending where you're shopping at, and a total 46.5. Did the Chargers going to win tonight, Mike, and take control of the AFC West? Woo.
I think it's possible, Donnie, to be quite honest with you. I am on the Raiders with the 3.5 this evening. I think that this is going to be a close game. They play some zany games, the Raiders and the Chargers, especially the past couple of years. And remember, now you've got the Harbaugh-Carroll element added back to these two, going with this rivalry. Of course, back in the day, whether it's Niners Seahawks, whether it's USC Stanford, you go back with these two guys. I am involved here tonight. I love the Raiders, and I think they can win the game outright, Donnie.
The Raiders at home tonight. Tom Vecchio, what are we looking at? Side, total here? We'll start with those before we get to those props.
I think the Chargers are the better team overall, but taking a home dog in a division and getting 3 points, especially if you get the 3.5, I think that's a totally fine side to be on, even though I do think the Chargers are a better team. Really like this. Like, this is the game that's going to have the points up between tonight. Like, we're going to see some scoring. Herbert historically has torched the Raiders. I know Carroll's there, and it's like a big culture change for them, but their defense still isn't good. Their secondary is atrocious. So my favorite bet, as I tweeted out earlier, I spoke about all week, is Ladd McConkey for a touchdown at plus 160. This is a player that had a great red zone target share last year. He didn't have a red zone target this year, so after week 1, his red zone target share is sitting at 0. But we know that's not the player he is. He's going to be number 1 on the team in target share overall, 1 or 2 when it comes to red zone target share. And when, again, a player is being priced wrongly, in my opinion, he should be priced at plus 120, plus 130. In fact, we're getting him plus 160 in a game environment that's set to push over. I absolutely love.
Yeah, we're taking a look at some. And also, let's start with the anytime touchdown market, Tom. And again, I'll start with you. I'll get you right to you, Mike Carver. Omari and Hampton -104. Just look at the FanDuel numbers just to keep it simple. Ashton Genty -104. Then the plus money numbers kick in. McConkey +146. Jacoby Myers +180. Brock Bowers at a 2-to-1 price. Let me start here too. Are you worried at all about Brock Bowers? Because Pete Carroll said, "Hey man, guy looks fantastic, ready to go." I'm always nervous, Tom and Mike, when I get a look at a run. I say, you know what? The worst thing is to bet somebody. It's like, oh, by the way, he's only in on certain plays tonight. Like, come on, man.
It's really tough. Like, so part of me thinks that this is like a zero-sum game. Like, you bet on his overs, and you're like, oh, he comes out. It's like, why did I bet on his overs?
Yeah.
And then you either don't bet the under, or you stay away, and then he goes out there for 100 yards. Like, oh, why didn't I just bet it? He's amazing. Correct. And he's out there the whole time. He scores a touchdown with 10 catches and 150 yards. Yeah. So if you have a no sweat or some type of boost to like juice it up, I can make the argument for Brock Bowers at +230. Again, that line is wrong for the dominant receiving option in the offense to be priced at that in a game that could theoretically have 50 points. So I wouldn't mind taking a shot on the longer touchdown odds rather than his receiving yards.
Yeah. A little Will Dissly action. 6-1 at this point, Mike. What are we looking at tonight? Touchdown props, and also, are you worried about Brock Bowers at all?
I'm actually not worried about him. Yeah. I think that the Raiders, and I know that Carroll could play games that you see Pete lies with the laughing emojis. And Pete does do that, I agree. Yeah. But this is not a guy that you screw around with, right?
Right.
Like, if it's week 2, if there was something serious with Brock Bowers, Pete Carroll is not a moron. He's going to, all right, you know what? We'll sit this one out. We'll get ourselves ready for next week. We'll be good to go. I think he's a full go. Okay. Maybe not the yards like Tom said. Maybe we don't want to go chase the yards. But I'll tell you one thing. I'll chase the touchdowns, because if he is playing tonight, and if it is a smaller package, you know where that package is going to be. Inside the 20, correct. He's going to be on the field. +2 bills for Brock. I'm in tonight for him. And guys, do we believe what we saw with Quentin Johnston last week for the Chargers? Are we believing it? Are we believing it?
Talk to me, please.
Let's go. I mean, 240 again for this guy?
I'm telling you right now, I love to take a look at because I think we have a good night here out of Justin Herbert. I think he goes over 1.5 touchdown passes. So what's my next cause? Give me the wide receivers or pass catchers that I think are going to get in the end zone. And if they're both plus money, which wide receivers typically are, Ladd McConkey, if you took him right now at FanDuel, +146. If you took Quentin Johnson right now at FanDuel, +240. Get one of them. And of course, you're cheering harder on Quentin Johnson. But one of those guys is going to catch a touchdown for me, because I think Justin Herbert throws too. I love doubling up at that point. And you're also right, Mike. Last year, I used to laugh at Quentin Johnson. Like, I would alt it down because his numbers were so low. Like, I need 15 yards out of the guy, and he would get hit with bullets in the head. It's like, catch one of these balls. I love the fact that they went to him last week. He had success and had 2 touchdowns. There's no reason to believe that he's a bigger part of the game plan and has that confidence where, why can't he get 50 yards tonight?
You know what? I have to say I have a significant bias against him because I drafted him high in my dynasty league, and then I have since moved on from him.
Sure, you would have, yeah.
So, and there's part of me that wants him to, like, I want to say, like, he only will have success in foreign countries. So anytime they play in London or whatever, or they're playing Brazil, that's when he shines. But the fact that he's back, he's actually going to be terrible. So that's what I'm telling myself, because I can't bet on him, because I am a scorned drafter of him in my dynasty league.
I'm telling you, Mike, like he's going to be wide open tonight at times. And it's like, brother, what are you doing? But I love the fact he opened up good. Like, those vibes have to be high. Like, yeah, I can catch the football this year. I can do it. Like, he wasn't a 7th round draft pick. The expectations were high coming out of college.
They were. And how about the longest reception, 19.5 for him?
Yes.
Tonight? Like that. I mean,
dude's not catching a 5-yard slant.
No, I mean, throwing to him, it's going to be with something down the field.
Yeah.
So if he gets even 1 catch DRS, I mean, be a 27-yarder, and you're in the mix for that. And you just made me think of something that I'm going to do, and I went and looked to see what the price was.
Go ahead.
Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdown passes, and I'm going to put it with Baker over 1.5 touchdown passes in the first game at +244.
Have you seen the game specials on this? Because there was one that, what is it here? Where was it? Passing?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was one that was for them to combine. No, it was under the K. Adams special.
Yeah.
I saw this. Herbert and Geno to combine for 550 passing. If we think there's going to be some special. like 200, we can get someone past 250. The other one comes in on the other side. It might be doable.
Yeah, I threw a parlay together here, FanDuel using the 30% boost to go up to +310. Herbert to throw 1.5 touchdown passes to the over. Quentin Johnson over 43.5, which is his regular number. Right. And then I dumbed down Ladd McConkey to 50+ yards. I just look, and Tom, I'll start with you first. I think the Chargers should have some success, and I mean success by 275 plus 2 touchdown passes out of Justin Herbert in the air, which means somebody's got to catch that 275. I'm high on the Chargers tonight.
Yeah, I'm high as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I am on the Chargers money line. I do think they come away with the win. And again, like Mike said, you'll get the 3.5 in a divisional game. That's a completely different story. I think this is objectively a good thing. But I think people, again, have this conception that the Chargers are a super run-heavy team under Harbaugh, but that's not really the case. Like, Herbert has been super efficient when he passed the ball, which is why I spoke to you this morning that I specifically like Herbert. I like him over 22.5 completions. And I think they moved the ball. They had great success last week. He's going to throw it 35 some odd times. And if this game is pushing to 50, they're not going to be relying on Hampton, who I do think is a great prospect. But Najee Harris is dust at this point. They're not going to be trusting the ground game. It's like, hey, let's put the ball in Herbert's hands, and he's going to throw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns.
How about this if we take a look to player rushing yards? I'll start with you, Mike, tonight. Omari Hampton, 57.5. Genty, 66.5. Everybody loves him. Justin Herbert, 16.5. Quarterback Geno Smith to 10.5. Najee Harris, 17.5. Any angles at the running back position tonight that you feel in the second game?
I mean, Najee, 17.5. I know Tom was just
that's
saying, I mean,
over 40.5 right there.
Really bad, but 17.5 for Najee Harris.
I mean, he had 1 carry in week 1.
You're right. I'm stupid. You know what? I might take a shot with Najee Harris. Right? I might go in there for 17.5. But
like Harbaugh likes to work him in, though, right? Like, hey, let the guy get a touchdown to feel good about his eye.
You'd rather the tutty DRS than the 17.5? You like the touchdown better? Take a shot there, then then hoping he gets more than a carry, like Tom.
Honestly,
you need 5 carries probably to get 17.
Like if I told you, like he got 4 carries, like he probably should get 17.5 because one of those carries is going to be a 3rd and 9 surprise. We're punting it. Let me get 8 yards on that and see if I can get close to a first down. Well, it's a hard one because touchdowns are hard to come by because you need the opportunities. Yeah. Like, well, I passed on the 17.5. He got 21 yards rushing. I didn't get a touchdown. Like I'm an idiot. Like, of course he did. He's not.
It's like I can imagine myself waking up tomorrow and seeing the box score, even though I will watch the game tonight, and it'll be like 4 carries, 5 carries, and he's going to average 2.6 yards per catch. It's going to be terrible.
Touchdown.
And I'll say this Herbert, he runs.
Yeah.
His numbers are always light. 16.5 tonight. Herbert likes to scramble. And when he scrambles, it's usually a pretty decent gain when Herbert gets out there and starts going. I like the 16.5 for him.
I also took a bonus bet today. I can't stay away from this, and I think this is the perfect game tonight to have it. Each team to score 1 rushing and 1 passing touchdowns, a plus 240 at FanDuel. Like, sometimes, understand this, like games that you don't expect sometimes hit those. But if there's one game where you expect a rushing touchdown from each team, it's this one. Yeah. And then Geno Smith on one side, Herbert on the other. You expect 1 touchdown either way. Now, also, I expected some rushing touchdowns yesterday out of the Baltimore Ravens, which I got burned because Derrick Henry didn't get the football inside the 1 multiple times, and Lamar goes for 4 touchdowns. So it happens, but I think both of these teams, rich pay dirt on the ground and in the air and cash that ticket. I do.
It really does, especially when you're like, if you just think about it from a top-down perspective, like both running backs are at minus odds to get a touchdown. And then if we are expecting this game to push past that 46.5, it's not all going to come on the ground. It should be at least 1 passing touchdown. Is there a world where Geno doesn't go over his 1.5? Sure, but he gets the 1 passing touchdown. Genty gets the other. They add in 2 field goals. They get the 20 points.
Yep.
The Chargers put up their 3-4 touchdowns, and boom, you're at that number.
I feel like the Chargers win tonight and comfortably, like by a touchdown or more. Like people are just going to ride that train. Because again, the Chiefs being 0-2 and then the Chargers being 2-0. And also remember, the Chargers already have a leg up by beating the Chiefs at that, boy, they would have loved to have that was an Arrowhead game down south as opposed to the other way around. But they still got that. What do you got, Mike?
I know that it's probably different now that Harbaugh's there. But just remember, DRS, the Chargers are one of those teams. Charger always going to Charger sometimes. Now, maybe it's different. Now that Harbaugh's been there, they made the playoffs last year, things will go. But they're one of those teams. There's like a handful of teams that no matter what, you think that everything looks so great for them. Look at this. They're going to start 2-0. The Chiefs are going to be 0-2. They've beaten them. They're going to run away with the AFC West. And then they'll lose a game like tonight. That's what the Chargers do sometimes. So I'd be careful.
Yeah, take a look at the props, I guess, for that. AFC West winner, the Chargers plus 130. They win. Obviously, it's going to move in their direction here. The Chiefs are plus 230. And the Raiders, who are 1-0 at 8-1, would be really interesting if the Raiders picked up a victory at this point. But even though we have the 2 doubleheaders tonight, Like when we were live this morning on the early line, like we're talking about Major League Baseball, and all of a sudden that Joe Burrow story broke at this point, and I was trying to figure out like a way to bet it. And also, Tom, we were talking before the show. So many quarterback injuries and injuries to start the season that are throwing like even week number 3 into complete chaos. But if I start with you, Tom, quickly on the Bengals, how do you approach it? Because they have a good backup quarterback. The defense isn't very good. Are there buying spots? Because for me, I was looking down the road after the Pittsburgh Steelers game. The schedule lets up. And that's the game I want to buy in because I'm actually hoping they play under 500 football. And if Burrow has one of those, hey, his rehab's going well and comes back, like, I'm not talking about winning the division. I'm not going to do that. I'm not even talking about team total, but maybe a chance to A, make the playoffs, and B, maybe a really cheap conference championship future. Because if you have the playoffs that they get in and Joe Burrow is healthy, they can beat people, right?
Yeah, they can. And I did see a report earlier today that they're discussing a trade with the Giants for Jameis Winston.
Oh, my goodness. Holy, that would be out of control.
Which would be a boom for both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They are just going to let the ball rip. So I think you have to be willing to go with the swings, and you also have to be like committed to that side. Like if you truly believe they're going to make the playoffs, like I would say, like you can't just take a small flyer. I think I saw him at plus 138. Like it has to be a flag in the ground type of play, just because the AFC is so
tough. How do you feel,
tough.
Carver? How do you feel about it?
Look, I know that Jake Browning's not the worst backup in the NFL. There's worse guys you could have. Look at this stretch. I mean, they got 3 of their next 4 on the road, and they're not easy trips. Minnesota, Denver, Green Bay. They play the Lions at home. They have the Steelers a couple times. I know the Steelers haven't looked great to start, but still, you know, they go to Baltimore. They go to Buffalo, right in that area where Burrow's supposed to come back. Who knows if he'll be ready? I am not a believer that Browning's going to be able to win a bunch of those games. I'm
not saying I am either, but I'm saying if you have to pick your side, you got to be ready to stick to it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, when, again, the schedule I look at, because here's what I'm hoping in a perfect world. Like, some people like, I'm just going to fade the Bengals today or bet the Bengals today because I like it. I'm waiting because I'm with what Carver's talking about. You take a look and say, okay, they got the Vikings this week. Who knows? Like, J.J. McCarthy's not going to play. It's Carson Wentz. Yeah. Maybe that's a victory. Maybe they can compete in that one. At Denver, tough. Lions, tough. Packers, tough. The Steelers still will be a tough game, but after that, you get the Jets at home, the Bears at home, and then the bye week. Like, let's just say if I'm hoping they lose that Steelers game, they're down in the dumps. They can get a couple wins. That'll be as high as that market price is possibly going to be with a legitimate chance that they might be able to make it into the playoffs. That's my buy-in point. So I say Thursday, October 18th, if they can lose that game and not do very well in the previous games, you're going to have a long-time flyer where it's just a miracle play. You're not putting $200 down on the Bengals to win the championship when they probably got to win 6 out of 7 to close the season. But I'm just looking at that as a betting opportunity for some fun at that point. But devastating, man. They finally get to 2-0 and Burrow goes down instead of like, hey, I'd rather have Burrow in 0-2. Crazy.
All win total under 6.5 at plus 270, because here's another scenario. If it does go bad, and maybe it doesn't get better in that little
pocket. He's not coming back. We're not rushing him back.
They will not bring him back at all. Nope. They will not. It'll get to early December. Right. They're going to be finished, and they're going to say, all right, Joe, get ready for next year. We're not going to even try it.
And they signed both receivers in the offseason.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. And then if it gets really bad, I mean, Trey Hendrickson's on just the 1-year extension. They could theoretically trade him. And then it's just the defense is pretty average to begin with. It gets even worse. Then it is just down, down, down from that point.
Positive, they're 2-0. Negative, 3 months without Joe Burrow. And the defense. Hey, we can hang our hat on the defense. No, you can't in Cincinnati. That team is built on running up and down the field on offense. We'll see if they can do that. But they did get a victory against Jacksonville. All right, guys. Doubleheader tonight. Some final thoughts, Tom Vecchio. I'll start with you first. Tampa, Houston, Chargers, Vegas. What do you got tonight? What do you got some plays for the people out there?
Bucs come away with the win. Texans offense is just not good, and the offensive line is going to struggle. I would not mind playing CJ Stroud interception prop at plus money just because I think he's going to be under pressure. I also don't mind the Baker rushing prop, but I do say the Bucs come away with the win. Again, I'm on Jalen Noel under 7.5 receiving yards. The Texans' 5th string receiver. He just should not be out there. And then when it comes to Chargers, I do like them come away with the win, but as Mike said, I think it just the plus 3.5 is objectively good as a home dog in a divisional matchup. And Lad McConkey, he scores tonight. Love that play.
Go ahead, Lad. Carver, what do you got tonight, brother? Both of these games.
I like the Bucs in the first game, low-scoring game. I think we stay to the under. I am going to play, though, Nick Chubb for a touchdown along with Mike Evans. I am going to do that Baker Mayfield over 1.5 passing touchdowns with Herbert over 1.5
I like
at plus 244. Put it in. I like the Raiders plus the 3.5, and I'm playing Brock to score at plus 200 for the Raiders. And you know what? Since we talked about it, I'll take the shot. Give me Najee at plus 280 tonight in the end zone, DRS. Let's go.
Absolutely love it here. For me, Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdown passes. Quentin Johnson over 43.5. And Ladd McConkey 50+ receiving yards, plus 310. Also took the 1-1 in game number 2. 1 touchdown on the ground, 1 in the air for each team at a plus 240 price. And also, we'll be back on Thursday night. Carver's going to enjoy that beatdown that the Buffalo Bills are going to lay on the Miami Dolphins and move to 3-0, a 49.5 total. We'll have fun with that game. But guys, thanks for tuning in. 30 minutes till kickoff. Kickoff